Okay, so let's talk now about Rickie Fowler's body swing connection. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Rickie, the incredible year that he's had so far this year, and talk a little bit about what he's been dealing with the last couple of years and what he's done with Butch Harmon to change his body swing connection. So when I look at him on this side, this was probably 4 or 5 years ago when he was here at TPI, actually complaining of pain in his SI joints. And one of the things that Rickie used to do is he would actually get quite close to the ball and he would start his backswing by dragging the club inside and dropping the shoulder down. So it would create almost a tilt as opposed to a turn. So you'll notice that the club head stays a long way outside his hands, and you'll also notice that the club starts to get across his body. So his lead arms tends to get across his body quite quickly. So in this position here, the lead arm would get across the body, the shaft would get quite vertical, and that was really because as he went back, he would tilt instead of turn. And that is really the biggest difference that he's made with Butch Harmon. Now, this is a swing from 2015, and when you look at it here, you'll notice a couple differences, especially with the path and the plane going back. So as he takes this club back here, he's got a little bit of the same trait, but he gets the club on a much shallower plane with his arms more in front of his body. So his hands are more in the center of his chest. The club shaft is a lot shallower, more on plane. He used to get the arms very deep, very early, club head outside, shaft very vertical, and what he would do is tilt. Now this is where the body swing connection comes in. That tilt would cause him to go into what we call backward bend, and that is when you lose your forward flexion during your turn. So whenever I set up to the golf ball, I set up and I'm flexed forward. I try and maintain my flexion forward as best as possible as I rotate. Now, what was happening here was because he's got such great mobility, he would actually over-rotate. The shoulder would go down quickly, the arms would pull across his body and in, and his spine would start to tilt towards the target, and that would cause lower back pain, not in the backswing, but in the downswing. And what would happen is this tilt on the downswing, he would have to raise the right hip, drop the shoulders, and it would cause this compression of not only the facet joints, but irritation to the SI joints, and that would make it very difficult for him to load properly on his backswing. It was creating pain, even though he was playing quite well, and he knew he had to make a change. That's where Butch stepped in. And what Butch did so well is Butch got that club out in front of his body, matched it with his turn, so now at the top of his backswing, he doesn't look like this. So let me bring up a couple other videos and show you a little bit more of what he looks like now as opposed to what he's been fighting. So here we go with a driver from face on. This little lean, this little tilt that you see at the top of the backswing here is what he was battling. He would turn early, tilt his spine towards the target. To get out of that at speed is where the problem would occur, and that would be in the lower back right down here. On this one, you'll see when we get to the top of the backswing, and as he gets to the top, you'll see a total different look in the back. Notice how it's angled slightly away from the target. He's much more loaded into this hip, and now he's been doing this for a couple of years. He's still going to have to monitor his fitness because he tends to be extremely mobile. And whenever you've got somebody that has hypermobility, we see this in a lot of kids, we see it in a lot of ladies, it's almost like they don't have a brake pedal. They don't know when to stop. So what happens is they can turn and turn and turn and turn and turn and actually put themselves in a faulty position. Now, the average person, a lot of us at home, we tend to have tight hips, tight thoracic spine because of what we do during the day and maybe working habits, sitting too much. And what we do is we turn with our lower back. So a lot of us can actually get out turned from our lower back, and that's not a good issue either. So let's talk a little bit more about this reverse spine angle because this is a real key component. You know, Rickie is an elite level athlete. He has a team around him that's actually able to get his body to support what he's trying to do. He's got fitness, medical, and he's got an incredible coach. But you at home, if you run into something like this reverse spine angle, it's the #1 reason golfers leave this game from lower back pain. So I highly suggest that you get a TPI certified person to screen you, evaluate you, and figure out if your body is causing your problem. and then find an instructor that can help you attack the golf swing and have an understanding of how your body's working. If you can do that, you can get out of pain, you can get yourself in great positions, and maybe you can have a year like Rickie's had.
Hey everybody, it's Lance Gill. Let's talk about what Dave was getting at with Rickie's new swing changes, 2015 versus before. So getting the hands away from the chest, more out in front, as Dave put it, is a trick that we use to help turn the core on. I use it in deep squat activation patterns, I use it in toe touch patterns, I use it in even shoulder blade patterns. This is why Butch is a master. And Dave talked about it. With Rickie's new position, his hands are more out in front of his chest, and on the takeaway, they're not coming to the inside, they're coming more down the target line. This is kind of cool because what it does from a golf standpoint, hey, I'm not going to challenge that because Rickie's season is Rickie's season. It was right on. But let's talk medical and fitness for a second. That simple move, I think, can help protect his back for years to come. And I want to explain it. It comes with something called reciprocal inhibition. When you turn a muscle on the front side on, like when I'm doing this curling motion, my biceps turn on. But the muscle on the opposite side naturally relaxes and shuts off. It's called reciprocal inhibition. And in Rickie's case, he was overusing these muscles right here, so let's get the belly turned on. So what Butch did in the swing change was get his hands more out in front of him, which created an awareness or a turning on of the belly muscle, while the muscles on the opposite side, the lower back, kind of took a break and relaxed. And I want to show you that with a drill. This is a really cool drill, and all you need is a resistance band. I prefer it to be low resistance or medium resistance because we're not going after strength here. We're going after firing patterns. We're going to lay the tube on the floor, and all I want to do is step on the left leg down on it. If you're a right-hand golfer, you're going to do it the opposite way. Now from here, we're going to take the old Rickie swing, for instance, and I'm going to exaggerate, Rickie, don't get all over me. This is not what it looked like. What Rickie and Dave talked about was he got his hands to the inside, and as he turned, his left shoulder dropped, and he goes into side bend. All right, now if you do this move right here, you're not going to feel really any activation through the midsection, the core. So let's do the exercise a slightly different way. Now from here, what I'm going to do is pull the core to the chest. I'm going to turn with no side bend, and here's where the magic happens. I'm going to push my hands directly away from this logo on my chest. Boom. All right? What that does instantly is turn my core on. So position 1, rotate, position 3, right here. That movement of the hands away from the chest, exactly like Butch did in the swing, turns this on and reciprocally shuts or inhibits the back side, the lumbar spine. So by doing this drill, you're able to get a little bit better sequencing, better spine posture so that reverse spine angle is no longer present, and you could be protecting your spine for years to come. So there's two different variations. The hands drag inside, side bend low, you're going to feel the pressure here. But if you do it with the hands on the chest, pushing away, you're going to feel the pressure in the belly. This is an excellent drill, and I want you to try both ways. We call it good cop, bad cop, and you're going to see the core activation in version 2. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you down the road.